Amazon, which had been summoned by a parliamentary panel to come and answer questions on privacy, has refused to appear before the Parliament committee looking into the personal data protection bill. That's what NDTV is picking up at this point from sources. The Parliament panel had asked Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, all three to appear before them and answer some questions. Amazon refused, but Facebook did come. And NDTV has learned that they did answer some questions and went through some tough grilling as well. The Facebook revenue model, misuse of data without consent, relationship with geo policy regarding political ads and more, all of those questions were asked of Facebook. But the panel found that Facebook's answers as well were inadequate. The panel has now asked them to come back to them with at least 25 to 30 questions in writing. Meanwhile, the Joint Committee was unanimous that if Amazon does not appear before the committee on the 28th as well, they will be sending out a privilege notice against them. Remember, 28th is the second day. That's when Twitter is expected to appear as well. Himanshu now joins us, bringing us all those details from Parliament. Himanshu, take us through the details. We are told some tough grilling happened for Facebook.
That's right, for almost 2 hours. And Facebook India officials, two officials had actually come today, and they made a detailed presentation on the steps that Facebook India is taking for protecting the data of its customers. And they were asked several questions by members of parliament across our political spectrum. And the most important question was that please ensure, and at Facebook it is their responsibility, that no data that citizens shares on their platform can ever be used for any kind of inferential purposes. They were firmly told that the government and the parliamentary committee will take it very seriously if ever such a complaint is made against Facebook. They were also asked how much money Facebook India is earning, how much tax Facebook India is paying, and most crucially, how much percentage of the revenue that Facebook earns from India is spent on safeguards, on ensuring that the data that me and you and common citizens of India share on Facebook, how much of that money that Facebook earns is spent on putting in place safeguard mechanisms to ensure that the every data that the citizen shares is protected. But the big story, of course, is, Sonal, that Amazon has expressed its inability to send its representatives on 28 October. And the Joint Committee, which is examining the Personal Data Protection Bill, has taken it very, very seriously. We have spoken to at least 4 MPs who are member of the Joint Committee, and they have said that when the committee was informed today that Amazon has expressed its inability to make a presentation on 28 October, all MPs were aghast at the response of Amazon. There is anger, and the committee has decided that if Amazon does not send its representative on 28 October, then very coercive action can be initiated against Amazon. The options include a privilege motion can be moved. That's right.
What are the grounds on which Amazon says they can't appear? Have they sent a letter in writing? What does it say?
Yes, they have sent a letter, and basically they have said that in the present circumstances, because of the difficulty of travel, it is difficult for them to send a senior representative. But the Joint Committee MPs that I have spoken to, at least 4 of them, they were of the view that when Amazon can do thousands and thousands of crores of business in India, how can Amazon say that they cannot send their representatives when the other social media platform representatives have agreed to come and make a presentation? Right. Amazon, as you know, has a very big subscriber base. One MP told me that around 40 crore people have so far at one time or the other done business on the Amazon platform. Right. So when Amazon has invested so much money, so much revenue is being earned from the Indian market.
This is social media we're talking about. Is there a way that they could make an appearance virtually? Is that being considered?
Well, it depends on Amazon. I think what the committee means now is that the representation from Amazon has to be made on 28. That essentially means a representative from Amazon India has to come before the parliamentary committee. That's the norm That is the standard, and that is why the summons have been issued. And I think when this option was first discussed of having virtual meetings of standing committee, Lok Sabha Speaker was very firm that this should not be allowed, and a normal conventional way of parliamentary standing committee functioning is what is the norm for last at least 1 month, Sonal. And I think it's very important for Amazon now to take a call on they're sending a representative before the joint committee.
And
otherwise,
Twitter
very
is expected to make an appearance as well.
And one MP.
Could you take us through what sort of questioning would they be going
That's right,
through?
on 28th. They would be facing the same set of questions that Facebook has faced largely, because the domain, the idea, the subject that is being examined is absolutely clear. The personal data of every citizen, how can that be secured? How can a regulatory framework can be put in place in India to ensure that every data that a citizen shares on a public platform, whether it is Facebook, Twitter, Amazon, or any other social media platform, how can that be secured? How can it be ensured that they are not used, abused, unlawfully used, or, as a BJD MP told me, no inferential use for political advertisements or any kind of business activity can ever be allowed by any of the social media platforms. And clearly, Twitter will also face the same set of questions from the joint committee when they make an appearance on 28th October. Sonal.